let's talk about spiritual bypassing. If you're in this work, you've probably come across the term spiritual bypassing, and it's always typically has a negative connotation. I want to explore that today. So, spiritual bypassing can be negative if it is not temporary. I'll tell you what I mean by that. So spiritual bypassing is to ignore the dynamics of our human psyche, emotional, mental psyche, and the traumas that are built up within our cellular systems. Spiritual bypassing is to ignore that and say, well, that's not who I really am essentially anyway. So I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to work with it. I'm not going to do any healing of that. I'm just going to escape into the spiritual bliss of my essential being, that is the formless nature of my being, the love that I am, the consciousness that I am. And I'm going to hide there and stay there and never deal with the parts of me that need to be healed. That's spiritual bypassing. What I'm offering and what I'm inviting here today is the power of temporary spiritual bypassing. And what I mean by that is that in order to really do our healing, to really meet those parts of ourselves that need to be loved, that need to be understood, that need to be witnessed and held with compassion, it is important that we know how to rest in and as true love. To go directly to the love, the grace, the essential nature of our being. To go to that spiritual dynamic of ourselves that is the true self, the eternal self, the essential self. To find that power and that grace and that genuine compassion and love. And then to turn back to the dynamics of our wounding, our conditioning, our programming, our traumas, and meet those parts of ourselves with the true love that we are. That's how healing really gets done. So spiritual bypassing means when we are first presented with a lot of our traumas, conditioning, programming, which often shows up as fears and doubts, disempowering thoughts and beliefs, feeling small, confused, uncertain. When we encounter those, to temporarily put them aside and say, I can't really effectively deal with those while I'm so in those, while I'm so identified as those thoughts, beliefs, feelings, stories of self. I can't effectively deal with them when I'm relating so heavily with them as who I am. So I'm going to put them aside, bypass them temporarily, and go to my true spiritual grace. This is why we need practices of self-inquiry and meditation, non-duality, self-realization. We learn how to access our truth, our divinity, our grace, so that we can come to rest in our power, in our strength, in our ease, in our peace, in our compassion, what I call the equanimity of grace. We can come to rest in that and as that, and then as true love, true compassion, true kindness, true peace. We can turn back to the troubles, to the conditioning, to the programming, to the traumas, to the feelings, to the thoughts, to the things that hook us. We can come back, turn back to those and hold space for them and offer love, to actually offer true love into that pain, is how the pain is healed. So we temporarily spiritually bypass. We temporarily put down, turn away from what we now know in our lives to be conditioning, programming, old neural firings, habitual emotional responses that are disempowering, unpleasant, limiting. We learn how to bypass them for just a little bit and to go straight to our wholeness, our true power, our true divine grace that has so much love because it is made up only of love. And to come to rest as that, and then as that, to turn back to the pains and the difficulties and the emotions and the thoughts and the beliefs that have been bedeviling us and troubling us for so long. We can turn back to them and heal them by offering true love, genuine peace, genuine kindness, genuine strength, and true courage. The courage to do our healing comes from coming to rest in our heart first. Cur is Latin for heart. So to meet our troubles with true courage, we must first return to the heart, which is the portal to our own grace of being, our deepest, most profound love and power and peace. From there, then we can turn and do true healing. Then we can turn and invite all of the troubles and the pains and the difficulties and the frightening thoughts and beliefs. We can invite them to be held, to be met, to be loved, to be healed. So, spiritual bypassing? Absolutely. We just don't want to always be spiritually bypassing. We want to do it long enough to come to rest in our truth so we can bring that truth back to meeting our illusions. We can shine the light of love and the light of truth into the darkness of our illusions, of our conditioning, of our programming. But how can we do that if we don't at first put it aside to come into the true light of our being, so that we do have it available to offer into the darkness of our beliefs and thoughts and fears and doubts? All right, my friends, blessings, much love.